Oh, Aisen, welcome, and welcome everyone to the Difference Is You show. We've got Aisen Lee here, and I may have butchered your name, man, because I seen you on Facebook, but no one ever told me how to pronounce your name. Did I
It's
pronounce that
actually
right?
Aisen.
Eisen, man, I knew it. Eisen. All right. That is a beautiful name though, man. I'm like Eisen. It's very unique and I'm thinking about having a kid in the future and we actually I don't know where Aiden came up, just I was just thinking about names that kind of sound unique and Eisen that might go on the list, man. Not, you know what I'm saying? Like I like the sound of that, brother. So Eisen Lee is in the house. Would you mind introducing yourself to the audience, just for however you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. Thanks for having me, Omar.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, my name is Aisen Lee. I'm a dating coach for Asian men. I currently live in Austin, Texas, and before that, I had a background in sales and marketing.
Okay.
I actually have an engineering degree as well. So, not using any of that, but
Uh-huh.
yeah. So this is what I do now, and
Okay.
happy to be on the show.
Okay. Man, so I had totally forgot because you did mention Austin, I think, in your first post on Asian Hustle Network where we met. And I don't know if I told you, I'm originally born and raised at Dallas, Texas. So yeah, man. How long?
Awesome.
Yeah, how long have you been in Austin for, Ison?
This is gonna be my second year.
Okay.
So originally, I was born in China, and then I
Okay.
moved around a lot, and then ended up in Texas
Okay.
as a kid, and then went to school at A&M, Texas
Okay.
A&M,
Okay.
and then after that, I was in LA for a bit, and then I came
Okay.
back.
Okay. And then you mentioned you did like modeling and acting in LA. And how long did you spend in LA?
About 2 years roughly,
Mm-hmm.
on and off. So, and that
Okay.
was like 4 years ago. Yeah,
Okay. What was that experience like?
it's very interesting experience to be honest.
Yeah.
Wasn't I didn't really know what to do, like what to how to anticipate it or expect what to expect. None of my family, did any modeling or acting,
Yeah.
so I was like pretty new to all of it,
Mm-hmm.
and it was a fun experience. It was definitely harder than anything else I've ever did,
Mm-hmm.
but it's definitely a humbling experience as well.
Wow. So the modeling and acting harder than what you're doing now, harder than sales, marketing, engineering.
100% because
Yeah.
in modeling and acting, like I don't have any control of, if I get the job or not. If
Okay.
I just have to show up and hopefully, one of the photographers or directors like me.
Yeah, of course, of course. But I mean, when you mention it, do we ever have control over anything? It's kind of like we do our best, and some things are more competitive than others. Some fields are more competitive, right? But when you mention it, when you put it that way, I kind of I haven't done modeling or acting myself, but I do have a lot of sales marketing experience, and I always feel the same way. Sales, you have some control, right? But at the end, it's their decision. You can try to manipulate them. Like you go in for like an acting gig. It's like you do your best. You have control in a way, but in a lot of ways, you don't. It's always the other person's decision to make a sale, to go forward with the sale, to hire you. And so when you put it that way, man, I feel like we never have control over anything.
I mean, yeah, for sure. Like I feel like there's only certain number of elements we can control, and the other
Yeah.
parts are up to chance.
Uh huh.
But with sales and marketing, there are more chances for
That's
you, more
true. That's
opportunities.
true. Of course.
Whereas
Of
like,
course.
for modeling, as long as like, you fit the bill, you fit the look, they're gonna want you. But there's only
Yeah.
so many roles for your certain look. You can't just create new roles out there. You're not a
Yeah.
producer, not a director.
Of course. And what? So I mean, I'm Asian myself, so I'm very interested in how Asians are represented and the opportunities given to Asian people. What like the Crazy Rich Asians, how did you see that affecting opportunities for Asian men and women?
I feel like it's definitely brought a positive impact in our community to our community
Uh huh.
because nowadays with the Asian cast and portrayed in a positive light, we have the main characters, all of them being Asian
Mm-hmm.
of some sort, and then being shined with the bright light, in the positive light,
Okay.
them being like educated, rich, affluent, and talking in English at least.
Right.
Whereas like before in the 80s and 90s, we see
Mhm.
like Asian guys occasionally, and then they'd have like a little role, and it'd be like a gimmicky role, maybe a martial artist,
Mhm. Mhm.
comic relief, or some kind of like guy that just came from China.
Mhm.
Doing
But
crazy things, eating crazy things.
yeah, I mean it's great getting your perspective because me not being in the industry, I wouldn't know how it affected opportunities. And I after I saw that movie, I was I was pleasantly surprised, because most times you're like, oh fuck, man, they made us look stupid and like
Hmm.
idiots, right?
Yeah.
And then I saw what they tried to do, and they had to do some things to make it appealing for the white crowd, right? But overall, I was like, that's a pretty good,
It's a good
accurate,
representation of
yeah,
us.
accurate in a lot of ways, right? Maybe you have to do some things that aren't so accurate, but I get it. It's been a while since I saw the movie, so I can't speak to some specifics, but I do remember my overall feel. I was like, okay, they did a good job. And then something else I wanted to ask you, Ison, is how do you feel the whole K-pop craze and everything? Has that been a good thing for the Asian community?
I think so, yeah. Like especially seeing like faces that look like us
Mm-hmm.
portrayed, in the mainstream music industry, and especially that band,
BTS?
BTS. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. They're on the radio now, so in America,
They
so
are.
that's something new.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll have to admit they make their way onto my playlist a little bit.
That Dynamite song.
Yeah, man. How old are you, by the way?
I'm 27.
Okay, so I'm a little quite a bit older. I'm 37.
Okay,
And
you look really young. Yeah,
thank you. It's gotta be this lighting. I got a well lit studio here, and by
nice. Yeah, I got a lot
studio.
of lights. I got like 5 lights shining on me. Gotta try to look as good as you can, right?
Yeah, I mean, if I have trouble buying cigarettes, I'm just kidding, but I don't smoke, but I'm saying I get carded for alcohol, anything that's like 21 or 18, and now I take it as a compliment. When I was 27, I was still a little bit insulted, but
Yeah,
now,
like, what the hell? Come
yeah,
on,
I
man.
know, but now as a 37-year-old man, I'm happily presenting my ID. I'm like, "Oh, well, yes, I do have my ID."
Like, check me out. Check me out.
Right? Yeah, but no, I'm like, man, you just remind me I'm closer to 40 than 30 now, so it's like, damn, sometimes it's a wake-up call for me. I gotta get my life together and 'cause you can only play around for so long,
What
right?
are some hopes and goals for the next decade for you?
Yeah, that's a good question, man. I know there's a lot to be said for planning ahead and having goals and things like that. Some things that I've found in my life is that you could do very well and plan as much as you can, which is not, I don't want to discourage anyone from planning, right? But like often you could have the most well laid out 5, 10 year plan and it all falls apart, right? So I think these days I try to be more spiritual in the sense that like I don't know if you're familiar too much with like the Tao philosophy or like the Bruce Lee just flow like water. I'm kind of just want to flow
Hmm.
like water. Not that I don't have plans, but I try to just live in the moment and just try to have a good time. Try to make the best of the day. And but that being said, my girlfriend and I we're gonna marriage is soon because like she's stuck with me for 7 years, man. Right, and finally, the ring's almost paid off. She was involved in the process, so it's not like a
Okay,
big
nice.
surprise, right? But so a lot of things coming together this year. Engagement ring, we gotta go in. It's like 99% paid off. Just gotta go in, get the diamond in the setting, and because she got
Did you
involved in the
propose yet?
no, no.
Oh, okay.
That's what I'm saying. The
She
jewelers
knows you're gonna propose, right?
exactly. So I'm still
Yeah,
gonna
so
I still
you're
have to
good.
I'm gonna figure out a way to surprise her though,
Did you know that you can actually buy the ring and then pay it off later? So I know at Tiffany's you can like spend 10%, put
Mhm.
10% down, and then pay off the 90 in a year, and then there's no interest on that. I'm actually in the market myself,
Are
so
you really?
I've
So
been
you
doing
know,
some
so that's why
research.
I'm like, how are you so knowledgeable about this? Ice? That's great, brother. You know, I'm like, my credit is shit, bro. I have like, I don't think anyone would extend me credit, but I've heard. Uh, let's just put it this way, man. She got involved in the process. I still paid everything, right? But like I don't know how it really just happened, and then she got like getting her involved in the process. The ring ended up being 3 times more than I was gonna pay for. Yeah, because
Damn.
when the girl gets involved, it's like, well, I want
Yeah, it's
this,
way more.
and then like
He's like,
the
wait, I want this setting, I want this cut, this
yeah,
clarity,
and I
PS2, baby.
yeah, exactly, man. I'm like, you know what? I just want her to get the one that she wants. So,
Yeah,
and then,
exactly.
but that being said, man, the actual like, okay, so there's the diamond part, and then there's the actual ring part, right? And then
Hmm.
like, so the ring part, not
Has
even,
diamonds on it too.
yeah, yeah. I'm like,
It's like, damn,
oh,
so many diamonds.
yeah. I was like, dude, the ring ends up being like
Like 3 grand.
as much as I thought the entire thing was gonna
Oh,
be.
really?
Yeah, so I don't even. Yeah, man, that's neither here nor there. But good luck in your process too, brother.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. It's a stressful
A
times,
little
man.
bit, yeah, a
Yeah,
little bit.
yeah. But well, let's. What I wanted to talk to you today, Ison, was about your current profession. You're not just a dating coach for Asian men, right? Which is what we always needed. Tell me a little bit about that. Wherever you want to start, man. I think like you're one of like the most exciting guests I've ever had. Not that the other ones were boring. I'm just like, wow, Asian dating coach. Where were you when I needed you? You know?
So yeah, growing up in Texas, coming from China, I didn't really have too many like dating or like guys or like, parents didn't really teach me how to talk to girls
Mhm.
or dating wasn't even condoned like really until like I was after I was 18.
Mhm. Mhm.
I'm in college and then I had to
Of
figure
course.
out by myself. So I went to some parties and then and I'm trying joining a fraternity,
Yeah. Yeah.
an Asian fraternity at that.
There's
So
Asian fraternity at A&M.
yeah, there's like
Okay.
three,
Okay. Yeah.
but back then there was only like one. So
Yeah. Okay.
I guess after that, so I met a lot of guys and a lot of my brothers were similar position, trying to date, but then especially in a conservative town, A&M, it was pretty hard, trying to like talk to people. Even other people wouldn't accept us
Uh
for
huh.
being who we are.
Mhm.
So that made it really tough. So I had to like read books, watch videos, get some guidance on like how to like communicate effectively with girls and like having the confidence to do so as well.
Mhm.
So after noticing like everyone else had the same problem, I started to do more like research and finding out what the source is, like why
Mhm.
is everyone having the same issues as
Mhm.
me.
Mhm.
Even like a lot of them were born and raised here in America. So
Okay.
I was like, okay, this has to be like a race thing.
Mhm.
So, after that, I started to, help other guys, like just, give them pointers and tips at parties and such. And eventually it went on to becoming more of a business.
Mhm.
And so this year I moved everything online because of COVID. Used to be more like in person. So now
Mhm.
I'm able to like reach out to more people across the states and help them online. So that's
Mhm.
really beneficial. Like my reach has definitely expanded.
Wow. Wow. So, would I be accurate in a way then saying this that the pandemic has been good for your business?
A little bit. It's definitely
Yeah.
shifted the
Uh huh.
direction of my business for sure. So opened up more doors, but also like because of the pandemic, like no one wants to do anything about dating. They're like, oh, I'm just gonna focus on like myself and building my business because I'm not trying to go out.
So yeah, man, you bring up an interesting point, right? Like you're like the great thing about the pandemic and really just the internet and virtual is that, before it's a one-on-one and now you can make a YouTube video or do a live stream and reach unlimited audience. But on the other hand, the pandemic has made people not do social things as much, right?
Right.
So since I'm locked down, I'm basically married, man. I have no, I was locked down right when Tinder was taking off. So I've never been on Tinder. I've never even made a Tinder profile. I met my current girlfriend back in 2013, and so from then till now, it's like I know nothing. I don't know I wouldn't even know how to go on a date, so you can educate me in that. What are guys doing now? Not just Asian guys, but guys in general. How are they asking girls out? Like now, of all things, right? Now you have to break the face mask barrier and the COVID
Hmm.
barrier, right? So what's going on in the dating world right now?
So right now, from what I know, is more guys. Almost every guy right now is doing online dating, some sort of online
Mm-hmm.
dating, right?
Mm-hmm.
It could be Tinder. A lot of guys actually use like Bumble or like Hinge nowadays, which is more for relationships, and Tinder is more for like quick hookups and
Mm-hmm.
such. And because more girls are on these platforms as well, because a lot of these girls used to go out and they would get like hit on by like 20 guys
Mm-hmm.
on a nightly basis. They weren't
Mm-hmm.
on those platforms,
Mm-hmm.
but now since bars are closed,
Mm.
restaurants aren't really that open either, so they're not able to go out as much, and so they gotta get some interaction, some
Mm-hmm.
social I guess, what is it called, like socialize a little bit
Yeah,
online
yeah,
now.
yeah. They're itching, man.
Hmm.
They're
Like,
itching,
I need more
and
compliments. I need some likes.
right? It's my how the tables have turned, Before it was like, oh, you met online. Now
Yeah,
it's
it's like
every
weird.
yeah, now everybody's online.
Yeah, my
Yeah.
mother's online too.
Funny story, okay? Like I'm an introvert. I don't know about you. Sometimes with these online Zoom things, it's kind of hard to tell because we're trying to bring it for the audience, and so a lot of people might get the wrong impression because it's for me, it's like an hour, like I'm being myself, right? But for the
Hmm.
for the sake of giving it to the audience, I'm gonna try to bring my extroverted personality, but I'm a 100% introvert as my natural personality. So what about you? How do you are you like a personality guy? Well, you have to like
Yeah, I
think about it,
understand those.
right?
Yeah, the traits like the Myers-Briggs.
Yeah, yeah.
I took that maybe the first time I took it was like 9 years ago, and I got introverted, INTJ, I believe.
TJ, I would not
Yeah,
have
a
guessed.
lot of people get that. A lot of Asians get that.
I would not have guessed
But now,
INTJ,
not
man.
anymore.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I took it again like 2 years ago. I got ENFP, I believe. So totally different.
Wow. That I will unravel that later. We might not want to bore the audience with
Yeah.
some MBTI crap that nobody even wants to hear about anyways. But I'm very because I study these things and how like when you're stressed, you might flip into your shadow personality,
Hmm.
and then when you discover your true self, which your true self is probably the ENFP, right? Or I don't know. We don't need to talk about that
Possibly,
right
yeah.
now. What I wanted to say is you shared with me your mom is on the platform now,
Yeah.
and what I was gonna say earlier was that like I'm an introvert, and normally I wouldn't tell my best friend any of these things, but for the sake of just being open and vulnerable on the podcast, I'm gonna share. Like I met my current girlfriend on Plenty of Fish. Okay,
Yeah.
is that even still a thing?
Yeah. My mom's
Okay,
on that.
so your mom,
Yeah.
and the only reason I knew about Plenty of Fish was my mom told me about it. Okay,
Hmm.
so to share even more, my father passed away in 2006.
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah, I was 23 years old, but it's a long time ago. And so, anyways, so my mom kind of got back in the field, and she met this older white dude, and then she saw me kind of rolling around all depressed and shit, and she was like, "Hey, Omar, you need to join this." And I'm like, and the first thing I thought was like, my fucking mom is telling me about a dating site that I don't even know about, right? What the fuck is going on? Anyway, I just wanted to share. You shared, I shared a little bit, But that's interesting though. Our parents are even like, there was a day back in maybe 2007. Man, this was yeah, 2007. I bought my mom her first like smartphone, right? And I don't know if even kids or anybody these days can relate, but when my mom sent me like her first text message, even I was like, wow, like my mom is texting, like that wasn't a thing. Texting wasn't like I'm 10 years older than you, so I may have been like a slightly different generation in that like when I was 14, right? We were carrying around pagers, you know, like the
Mm.
beepers. They call them beeper pagers. So like when
Mm-hmm.
my mom
Yeah.
sent me her first text message, I was like, "Whoa, she's texting! Like she's so advanced, right?" And then now she's on an online dating site. I'm like, I got to get out there, man. I'm like, what the
That's
fuck am I
funny.
doing? You know, she is. My mom is telling me about a dating site. I'm like, I gotta get my shit together. So. But yeah, so because of my mom doing that, I met my current girlfriend that I'm
Mm.
gonna marry soon. So it's interesting how, when you look in hindsight at your life, how you can connect the dots. But while you're living your life, it just seems like random and nothing makes sense,
Mm-hmm.
right?
True. Mama knows best.
Yeah. So I did want to kind of ask you, like and thank you for being very good at summarizing and simplifying things. That's a trait that sometimes I lose track of. I need a little more. But so you kind of said college, you started helping some of your bros, you started figuring some stuff out, and then you jumped to now. But like, there's a lot happened in that time, right?
Hmm.
Like between college and then you became a model and then you came back.
Yeah.
So what were some of those, like, so you switched careers maybe. What kind of led you to the actual dating coach? Like, I'm gonna do this. I can make money
Hmm.
doing this, you know. And I've like, fuck modeling and acting. I'm gonna do this and move back to Texas.
Yeah. So it's funny because I studied industrial distribution, which
Yeah,
was under engineering,
yeah.
and basically my dad works, in that field, so that's what really prompted me to do it. And then I knew I wasn't gonna really do it because I wanted to be a model in acting, get into acting. So after college, I just went to LA and
Mhm.
got signed with an agency.
Mhm.
However, being a new model and everything, I didn't really get too many jobs or didn't get too many castings,
Mhm.
so didn't go to a lot of them. So I had to find another source of income, right? So that's when I started to monetize, the dating coach thing and
Mm.
like taking guys out. And most of these guys were like 10, 20 years older than
Wow.
how I was, like
Yeah.
how old I was, like 22 or 23, I believe, at that
Yeah.
time. So I was like, a lot of these guys were like really well paid professionals, like
Mm.
lawyers, like
Mhm.
doctors, like just people you don't think has would have trouble with women.
Wow. Wow.
So
Uh-huh.
by taking them out and showing
Yeah.
them like how to approach a girl, talk to her, like build some rapport, etc., like share some have some established connections,
Yeah.
etc., they're able to have a genuine connection with them. And then eventually I just started doing that more and more,
Mm.
and then it paid the bills and such. So
Wow.
yeah.
Man, you charging money for that. That's crazy. A lot of what you're saying just seems like generally good sales skills that you're kind of teaching and applying it to the dating realm even, right?
Hmm.
Like just kind of transferring that's the building rapport. Like
Yeah.
it's funny you have to like teach this to people, right? Building rapport, but it's like it sometimes it might feel like natural to you, right? But totally alien to people.
Hmm.
So it's interesting you identified that as a skill that you can monetize by teaching it. But tell me about this because what are some common issues that you see that Asian men or maybe just men in general that don't have what they struggle with? What are like the top three, top five, whatever that you identify that you can help people with?
So for Asian guys, it's definitely
Yeah.
the limited belief, because growing up, if you're raised in an Asian household, if your parents are immigrants or immigrants, they're gonna treat you, raise you a different way, like how they were raised as kids, right?
Mhm.
So they're gonna like focus on grades, make you focus on grades, and
Mhm.
have you, stuck in a room studying or like not socializing with the opposite sex.
Mhm.
So, and then they don't really do a lot of reassurance. They don't really
Mm.
give you like rewards for doing something good. They punish you for doing something bad though. So growing up, a lot of Asian guys lack that self-confidence that they're
Mm.
sufficient enough or like good enough for to attract people into their lives. So they're like very scared a lot of
Mhm.
times. So
Wow.
that translates into anxiety and approaching anxiety.
Mhm.
So a lot of these guys, because they lack confidence, they would be scared to approach a girl
Mhm.
that they see. They're like, oh, okay, so she's probably not going to be interested in me because
Mhm.
I don't get girls. Like
Yeah.
there's nothing interesting about me. I'm just a normal dude. Like there's guys that are taller than me, better
Wow.
looking, and wider than me. So like, why would she pick me? Like even if I did talk to her, like, what am I even gonna say?
Yeah, man. You're
Things
probably
like that.
just saying what's on a lot of guys' minds right now watching this, right? It's crazy. So, without giving too much of your secret sauce away, then how like what would you go in there like on your first coaching session? Maybe you can give a little bit of away,
Yeah,
and then I'll
of
give you a link
course.
how to contact you later if they want to learn more, right?
So basically, it all starts with the mindset first, like understanding why you feel certain ways, like what are some issues that you might have. Like I would talk to the client and like break down like his childhood, like how
Mm-hmm.
he was raised, and then understanding, okay, so like what is your biggest fear? Why do you feel like that's
Mm.
you can't overcome those things? And then of course like strategizing and coming up with a way to overcome that, destruct that belief.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can like, think of ways to talk to girls.
It's I'm thoroughly impressed, man. It's like you're 10 years younger than me, and in a lot of ways you have your life more figured out than I do, right? It's like
Thank you.
you've identified a strength of yours. You've identified a monetizable skill. On top of that, you've identified a niche as Asian men, and they all kind of share these just really common problems. So it's like I have no doubt you could be successful, like coaching all men, right?
Mhm.
I mean, there's more than enough Asian men just to make you rich, right? So why do you even need to, right? So you've done the right thing. You've niched down. You focus on Asian men, and even in that niche, it's like it's not even you're the only dating coach that focuses on Asian
I think
men,
there's a
right?
couple of other coaches. One of the more prominent, coaching, I guess, companies is ABCs of Attraction, which is more
Okay,
of a
I would.
pickup.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so more of a pickup thing. But in this age, I don't really think a lot of people are that into that anymore.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Well, that would be like I mean, I have some to say about that. It's like, if that's what the guy wants, then okay, there's a market for that, right?
mm,
But if we kind of draw the analogy to something I am familiar with, like sales and marketing, there are coaches out there in marketing that might just want to show you something shiny and take your money, right? And then there's like, real marketing where they do teach you the actual foundations and like, for example, since you're familiar in sales, right? There's like a good way and a bad way to sell.
mhm.
And if I can elaborate a little bit, like the bad way or the old school way is just the hard close them, close them no matter what, and you can do that and make a lot of money, but then you leave the client, sometimes they'll cancel on you, or
Mhm.
you'll leave them feeling shitty or just bad taste in their mouth. And then how you've already kind of uh, let me know kind of your sales process just by things that you've said. Just the new age, the good way to sell is be helpful, keep the client's best interest at heart, and I see how you've brought that into how you want to attack the dating market, right? Like I would say the negative way is just focusing on pickup and getting laid, whereas like the good way to do it is actually teach someone how to build a connection and for long term,
Yeah.
like
It also translates into like different parts of life. So if you're confident with your personal life, like love life, then you're going to be more confident in work. And certain principles that I teach in my program
mm-hmm,
can be applied to work as well as like finances.
mm-hmm,
So it's just like making yourself a better version of yourself.
mm-hmm. You said program, and without giving your whole program away, I never I'm new at yeah, like I've never talked to another dating coach, so I never looked at these things in terms of like a program. It's always been like, oh, a book I've read, and then oh, whatever, a newsletter. I had never thought to even like say, oh, this is a program. So maybe give an overview of it, and you don't have to give away. You obviously can't give it away in
Yeah.
one hour, anyways, right? So tell me a little bit about the program, how it's structured, as little or as much as you want to talk about it.
Sure. So yeah, the reason why I do a program is because like it takes a while to form habits. It takes a while to
Mm-hmm.
like deconstruct the limited beliefs you might have gained over the past 20, 30, 40 years, right? So it's going to take weeks, maybe sometimes months, right? So the most popular program that I have is a 12-week program, and it goes over like mindset and self beliefs and also like creating a new version of yourself from your current version. And then talks about like body language,
Mm.
how to what is it called, like how to approach people, how to get rid of anxiety, fear of rejections, and then
Mm.
how to be like the most positive person you can be with
Mm.
your with what you have right now. And also it goes on to talk about like grooming style. And
Mm.
week 6, I think it's online dating. So
Mm.
talks about how to make your profile, what to put for your pictures, and how to write your bio, as well as like what do you do after you get the match? Like what do you say to her to keep her interested? Because
Mm.
attractive girls, high quality girls get like hit on like at least 30 times a day, and most of the times the guy would say, "Hey, cutie," or like, "Hey, beautiful," or like, "Hey, how's it going?" They see that shit like on their phone, so they won't open it. So what's gonna make you different from all those guys, right?
Right, right.
And of course, after that, it's texting. So
Oh
yeah,
man.
you get a match, you're talking to her, you get her number now, so you want to take her out on a date. So how do you translate or like transform that interaction from your phone into
Mhm.
an in-person date?
Mhm.
And then after that is what do you talk about on a date? How do you get dressed for a date? What are certain things? What are certain things you got to be aware of? What are certain topics you want to talk about to create that interest, to keep
Mm.
her engaged? Because a lot of guys would just talk on and on and on, like I am
Mhm.
right now. And then the
Mhm.
girl over there is like losing interest and she's trying to find a way to leave. And obviously,
Oh
like some
shit.
guys say, hey, like I thought the date went really well. You know, we had a good time, but then she doesn't want to see me again, or like she just ghosted
Yeah.
me.
Yeah. Yeah.
It comes down to like the date and what you guys did on the date.
Yeah.
And one of the biggest things that I see with Asian guys is they don't know how to escalate
Uh-huh.
physically and verbally. So conversation is very bland. It felt like an interview, less of a date, more like an interrogation. So
Yeah.
that's my goal.
Interrogation. Oh
Yeah.
my God. Do you ever because like I'm sure like you're coaching these guys in I mean not real time, but they'll go and maybe like strike out and come back to hey Aisen coach, you know, what the and like how do you get an objective view of their date if you're not actually there? Or maybe
Yeah,
you yeah,
I asked a
okay.
lot of
You just
questions.
ask,
So
okay.
basically, I'm like, so what did you do? Like, where did you guys go? How did you guys like, you know, what whenever you saw her for the first time, did you go for a hug? Did you go for a handshake? Do you
Mhm.
say hi and wave your hand up and down like
Mhm.
that?
Mhm.
And then you hold the door for her when you went to the restaurant, right? Where did you sit? Did you sit across from her? Did you sit next to her? Did you sit diagonally from her?
Mm.
All that
Mm.
stuff, you know.
Mm. Asking the
What
right
did you guys
questions.
order?
Yeah.
What did you kind of drinks?
Yeah. Yeah.
What did you talk about? What was your first thing that you said?
Wow. So it seems like you get very involved and intimate with your own
100%.
clients,
Yeah.
right? So how man, I'm gonna just go back and forth and maybe ask some business questions
Yeah.
because I think one thing I want to know is that you are helping me in that like I don't know if other people will learn this way, but like if anybody trying to do any kind of coaching business can learn a lot of advice from what you're saying and how to structure their own business, whether it's going to be dating or anything else, right? And so I'm interested. How do you scale something like this when you get so personal and you give so much one-on-one time? Have you run into any of those business challenges?
Well, it just depends on the cost and the time you have available, right? So by scaling, excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
So I have in my program, I'm doing one-on-one, right? But I also have like materials
Mm.
from like just supplemental materials, whether it be videos or like different
Mm-hmm.
written notes, etc., that I send to the clients. So the more of that I have, the more resources I provide, the less one-on-one time I'm gonna need.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I just focus on building the best programs as I can, and eventually, when the time allows or when the business is as you know, it needs to go to the next level, I'm gonna hire more coaches to
Mm.
take my roles
Mm.
myself.
I see,
But right
man.
now, I'm good. Like I'm pretty happy with the
Yeah, yeah.
amount of clients I have right now and time that I'm allocating to each one of them.
So if there's anyone watching this and they're more interested in the business side, like how do you start? What software are you using? How do you kind of funnel people in? What are some marketing strategies that you're willing to share with the crowd?
Yeah, of course. So I had gotten a coach this year to take my business online. So I
Uh-huh.
paid that company 10 grand to
Okay.
do everything. She showed me the ropes.
Wow.
So I believe in investing in myself. And before that, I
Wow.
paid I got a consulting course for $3,000 in 2016 to just, that's the start of my business,
Yeah.
aka that's what I needed to do. So
Wow.
if what kind of specific questions do you have, like for someone that's starting
Mm-hmm.
completely fresh or
Yeah.
okay?
I guess personally, maybe just like some real specific, like what is there a platform you would recommend as far as like I kind of like let's say HubSpot for example is one that some people use, but I know that's expensive and I got out of the marketing world, so let's say last couple of years I don't know what shiny new programs are out. I know there's a lot of like course software. Like if you could recommend like if someone else is doing a course
Yeah.
what are some of your top software suites that you would recommend?
Yeah, of course. So the main one that I use is ClickFunnels. I host the videos there.
Mm,
I have the landing pages there, and then also the scheduling as well.
mm-hmm,
So that's a big one. It's about $100 a month.
mm-hmm,
And other than that, I have this thing called SCM Rush, which is for
mm-hmm,
SEO for my
mm-hmm,
website, but my website is still getting developed. So
mm-hmm,
I'm just paying money for that, $100.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And then the important one is Calendly. I'm sure you know that because
I've been using that recently. Yep, it's such a big time
It's,
saver.
it's
Yeah,
it's fun. Yeah, it's
yeah,
fun. I like the layout, and
yeah.
um, and you can also connect it to Zoom, which
Okay.
I also use.
Uh-huh.
So instead of like sending the link before the meeting, you
Yeah.
can connect it so the Zoom invitation is sent as you whenever someone's scheduled.
I should start using that for my podcast.
Yeah, it'd be easier for you. You
Yeah.
don't have to like think about it and then create the link,
Yeah.
etc.
Yeah.
Other than that, there's this thing called uh, go higher level. I think it's
Yeah.
pretty much like ClickFunnels, where you can build landing pages, websites, but also has a CRM and
Wow.
email marketing. So you could use that, but it's not as robust as ClickFunnels yet. So
Yeah. Yeah.
same price, $100 a month. And
Yeah.
what else do I use? I store a lot of videos on Google Drive, and if you want to host your videos, like have like a video course, you could
Yeah.
use like, Teachable, which is I think I don't know, it's like less than $100 a
What
month.
is that? How
And
do you
then
spell that?
Teachable, like teach
Teachable. Okay,
able.
teachable. Okay, got you.
And then
Um,
also like Podium is like $30 a month, which is the same thing as Teachable.
you use both of those?
No.
Okay. I was just giving options for
Yeah,
the
just
for the audience.
options.
Okay.
Mhm.
Damn. Now if I was just starting in business, you would have just talked me out of getting in business. Like, oh
Yeah.
my God, you just
So
blew my mind. You do all
yeah,
of that?
exactly.
Like I thought being a coach was just standing up here and giving lectures. Like, holy shit, man. But I no, I think it's a good lesson for anyone getting into business. Like, you put your money where your mouth is. You invested thousands, tens of thousands of dollars in area where you were not knowledgeable in.
Yeah.
So
And
you
also
kind, yeah.
Facebook ads. It's been like $2,000 a month on Facebook.
Facebook ads, that's crazy, man. But you obviously find a positive return on that too, right? So
Yeah, I try
it's
to at
yeah.
least.
I mean, you probably waste a lot of money at the beginning, but
Oh
you
yeah.
figure it out, right?
Mm.
That's interesting. What are you using for your website back end? I'm personally curious.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So my site right now is hosted on Squarespace.
Squarespace. Okay,
Pretty
that's a
easy
good
to
one.
use.
Yeah,
Like you can like make it on your own, but then
yeah.
like I'm trying to like make it up super professional because the last time I made it was like in 2016. So I'm trying
Mhm.
to update it since then.
Mhm.
But it doesn't really matter like how good it looks when you're beginning. Or a lot of people come to me, they're like, "Oh, what do you think of this logo?" Like it's like doesn't matter.
Mhm.
They're not gonna buy your product or service because of a
Mhm.
logo. Like
Mhm.
they want to buy what you can offer them. They want to see the value that you can provide. That's the most important part.
Mm.
And if you spend like 2 days on a logo, you could have been like filming like 2 days. That's a lot of videos, at least like 4 videos, and you could
Mhm.
edit them in the
Mhm.
meantime as well. So I'm all about like providing as much value as I can, even though like
Yeah.
right now my program isn't as pretty as like a lot of other people's are, but definitely the most valuable or like most value packed.
Hmm. And how about this? Because uh, I mean, I you remind me of some things about myself where I'm a creative guy, right? And I feel like a lot of this, obviously, you had to create it, right?
Hmm.
Like your 12-week program, you can't just copy paste this from somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. That being said, knowledge you pull from different places. Are there any people, whether it's in the dating realm or Tony Robbins, or like where did you gather all this information? Is there anyone that you might want to give credit to and say, oh, well, he was very inspirational, or I borrow a lot of concepts, but it's, I borrow from Confucius. Like that's kind of what I'm asking. Like, where do you, yeah, pull all this information from to make it your own course?
Yeah, like a lot of places, but I would say the biggest ones would probably be this guy. His name Tom Hopkins. He's a real estate
Okay.
guy back in the 80s. I used to
Okay.
read a lot of his books. Other than that, I have Coach Tanner Chidester. Shout out to him. He's a coach for
Uh-huh.
fitness experts,
Wow.
and he helped me set up the my program the way it
Yeah.
is. And
Yeah.
also Sammy from Ministry of Attraction.
Yeah.
He's also a YouTuber and also
Okay.
like does similar things, but in a different niche for more like entrepreneurs,
Mhm.
helping them date.
Mhm.
So those guys have helped me with setting up the program and
Mhm.
the layouts as well.
Mhm.
Sam Ovens, which is a consulting
Mhm.
expert, he
Mhm.
has like a lot of courses that he sells online, and
Mhm.
I learned some of the strategies, some principles from him as well. How to
Wow.
run ads, how to do simple things like create mindset trainings, etc. So it's
Wow.
from everywhere.
That's incredible. That was almost the exact answer I was looking for. Like you borrowed from the real estate guy, a fitness guy, another dating coach, a consulting business coach, and then you made it your own program. That's man, I think that's inspiring just for anyone starting their own business, actually. So so one question you actually help me come up with is um like what was the main inspiration, or when maybe it was just personally you came, you overcame your own struggles, but what is the deep inspiration that drives you to do this?
Yeah, of course. Basically, I see a lot of potential in a lot of people, and it saddens me whenever I see guys like giving up on dating
Yeah.
or finding love because I've been there and I felt really trapped and alone, didn't have any help. So I want to get people out of that. And also I know the upsides of, finding someone that you love, or even like in the beginning, like just knowing that there are people out there that are into you. That's a huge confidence
Mm,
booster. And I want
mm.
everyone to experience that. And
Wow,
it
man, that's
definitely
touching. Yeah.
translate into other aspects of your life, whether it be a better job, better relationships with your family, etc.
Mm-hmm. And I might kind of go back and forth, but one thing you just reminded me is that, like, gosh, it is a lot of this how we're raised, and the Asian mentality, and the whole negative reinforcement, not enough positive reinforcement, too much locked in your room doing homework, and not enough socializing with other females. Like, what can we do as a culture to kind of change? And maybe it's just by generations it will change. A lot of us, our parents came from a different country. Maybe we were even born in a different country, and things might change. But do you see things not changing? Do you see Asian culture kind of being stagnant and continuing that way?
Well, I think it's definitely changing, but it's the change is very small and slow
Mm-hmm.
because it takes a lot of time and a lot of effort to change generations of thinking
Mm-hmm.
in just one generation. I believe the key is to just become more open-minded. As you
Mm.
become more open-minded and open to different ideas, you're able to sway other people in that way as well, and hopefully, teach your parents like love. Like I used to like have I didn't have the best relationship with my dad growing up,
Mm-hmm.
and recently, like past few years, I was able to give him the positive affirmations he needed and reinforcement. He's also a business owner, so
Mm.
just helping each other out, giving him tips and helping him with marketing and telling him he's doing a good job and supporting him
Mm.
mentally really helps a lot. And then
Mm-hmm.
by giving love, you're gonna get love back. It's all
Mm.
about the vibes.
Mm.
Sometimes we have to teach our parents, as silly as it
Man, it
sounds.
doesn't sound silly to me. My mom is like hardcore 100% Trump supporter, so that's my own issue. I got, and not like I don't pick party lines, right? But I'm very much look, like if she says something completely retarded, I'm gonna have to say something. And so yeah, no, I feel you on a lot. It's weird when you come to a place of having to like bring your own parents back to reality, kind of teaching them, and it's like, okay, well, life has come full circle. I'm like, what is going on? She was the one telling me what the
Yeah.
fuck like yesterday, and now I'm like, what are you doing, mom? Why are you saying this on Facebook? Like, you know what you're saying, and I'm like, who am I? Who's the parent here?
Yeah, it's
Right.
okay to like teach your parents because growing up we think they know everything, but right now we're grown as well. We have
Yeah.
our own lives, we have our own like places. We
Mhm.
deal with the similar struggles that they're dealing with maybe on a day-to-day basis. So we might be able to provide some insight that they might not know that we possessed.
Mhm. Mhm. And I'm like not a linear thinker at all. I go on tangents. I want to know, okay, where did your current girl come into all this process? And maybe tell us how you met her and what that journey was like.
Yeah, so before I met her, I used to be on the dating apps a lot,
Uh-huh.
just hooking up with different girls, like pretty bad.
Yeah.
But when I met her, I knew that she was a good person. We
Yeah.
had a lot of things in common. I actually met her online as well, so shout out to online dating. And then I just knew that, hey, this person is gonna be a good mother. She's she
Mm.
vibes with my family, and we have similar values and morals.
Mhm. And was that in Texas, or did you meet her in
Yeah,
LA?
in
Okay.
Texas.
Yeah. And what did you have to deal with any racism? I don't think the audience knows. I just saw the picture. She's a white girl. I'm like, oh
Yeah.
man, good job representing for the Asian guys, and it show them that it can actually happen. But yeah, man, like I want to hear any stories that you want to share, the struggles versus going dating an Asian girl versus dating a white girl.
hmm Well, so the difference between dating an Asian girl and white girl, I'd say, is that whenever you date an Asian girl, she's gonna this might be from my own experience,
Yeah,
but she's more like she wants you to treat her like a princess and
yeah.
wants you to do everything for her. You're basically like a big brother,
Oh,
whereas like
okay.
dating a different ethnicity girl, maybe like
Yeah,
a white girl, Hispanic
yeah,
girl, you're kind of their equals.
yeah. Okay. Huh. I mean, like I don't have a ton of dating experience, so it's like, yeah, it's very eye opening to hear that, right?
hmm
Um, so what about like, I mean, a lot of people could look at this and just be like envious, like, damn, Ison, you got this all figured out. You got the girl, you got the business, you got all the guys asking you for help. But what are some goals and hopes you have for the future, and maybe some current challenges you personally or in business are trying to overcome?
Yeah, of course. So let's start with the good stuff, right? Goals. I mean, I definitely, with this podcast, it's kind of inspired me to, want to reach out in the future to Joe Rogan and hopefully get on his podcast one day. And
Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. Yeah,
I do
all right.
have, yeah, like I wrote it down in my plans. I want that to happen in 2022.
Hell yeah,
And
hell
before
yeah.
that, or like during the same time, I would like to do my own TED talk somewhere, on the topic
I
of
love
Asian
it. I love.
masculinity, stuff like that.
Ooh,
And
let's
eventually,
get you there. Yeah,
yeah, I think it's possible with proper
yeah,
planning and some luck.
yeah. Of course, of
And I also
course.
like to write, so I would like to have a New York Times bestseller um, before the age of 30, which is in less than 3 years.
Yeah.
But I think I can make that happen. It's not really that hard. I think 6,000 books in the first week or something.
Really,
That's,
that's what it takes.
yeah. So I just buy my books and then give them away.
Charge what? Maybe charge like $5 for it, so it's gonna
Yeah,
be.
for shipping. Here you go, free shipping. Like, you pay for shipping. I buy the book.
Dang, I didn't know that was the hard number. I mean, it looks like you one of your qualities, man, is like I don't know if you've identified it or maybe you know that I admire is that the amount of research and thought that you put into these things, right? Like it's one thing to say I'd like to be a New York Times bestseller, but you've researched it to like, well, this is the hard number, how much I'm gonna have to sell in this amount of time, and I'm like, wow, that's really just putting a real structured step to reach that goal,
Mhm.
right?
So one of my secrets is to have a goal and
Yeah,
then work backwards from it. So let's say that I want to buy a Lamborghini car, right?
yeah,
Lamborghini, whatever. Like, what's the newest one? Huracan.
yeah,
It's I can get a used one for, let's say, 150K,
yeah, yeah,
and then I just need to figure out, okay, how much is that monthly?
yeah,
Maybe like 17K, right?
yeah,
1700. So
yeah,
I'm like, okay, so I need probably $2,000 to like cover insurance. So how do I make $2,000, right?
Yeah, yeah,
How many clients is that?
yeah, yeah,
And how many ads is that, right?
yeah. Or maybe
And if
just
I figure
live
out the
out of your
numbers,
car, get rid of the rent, and then you
yeah.
can live in the car.
Live in the car. Be like, oh, I can just live with my girlfriend. She'll pay for the rent.
Oh man.
Yeah, just
Well,
figure it out. Like, let's say that your goal is to make $10,000 a month, like starting off, right, in your first business. So how many clients you need to make $10,000 a month, right?
mm-hmm,
Let's say you might need like 5 clients. So let's say you charge a person 2K a month for marketing.
mm-hmm,
And then, so how do you get that 5 clients? Maybe you have to do 122 cold calls. How many
mm-hmm,
cold calls is that in a
mm,
working day? So that's 20 days, six, what is it, like 6 calls a day? That's it.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And how many is
Dang.
that in an hour? It's like 1 call an hour. Just take a cup of coffee and then just chill, make a call. And then by the end of the month, you're making 10K. Just work backwards.
How did you say stay so focused on your niche when things might have not been going so well? Because I could see you coaching anything, business, relationships, sales, marketing. Like you have a lot of knowledge and you have a lot of structure. How do you not go off and start coaching entrepreneurs when you could probably make money doing that?
Yeah, because I love what I do, to be honest. This is like
Yeah.
a passion. I think I finally like found my passion at this age in life. And I get excited thinking about it. I like reading about it. I like to help people. Like I get excited on calls. I'm like, okay, great. Like let me help this guy. And then I get excited after calls because I feel like I really helped this guy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's just a
Yeah.
passion of mine right now. And I
Mm-hmm.
think that's probably the biggest thing that's really motivates me or pushes me, because a lot of times I've tried different things. I've tried selling online, I've tried eBay, Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
I had a little clothing store. It failed terribly,
Mm.
miserably. I tried have books published, but they're not selling. So that's there's no point in that. I wasn't passionate about all of that.
Mm-hmm.
I did modeling, wasn't that passionate about it,
Mm.
and I was in sales, didn't care.
I
So
feel you. Yep.
you have to find your passion. If
Mm-hmm.
your passion makes you money, then that's the best thing you could do.
Mm-hmm. All right. So how about like all the guys just want to be like they want to buy your course and then the hours coming up so want to give you an opportunity to just tell everyone how to find you Instagram website or how would you want them to proceed?
Of course, yeah. Like I think
Yeah.
the best way to find me is through Facebook. If you add me on Facebook, my name is Aisen Lee. It's spelled Aisen space Li.
Okay.
And I'd love to chat with you more and talk to you and see if I can help you.
All right. Well, I'm gonna roll the credits here and then this rolls for about a minute and just kind of talk about whatever. Tell me about. Let's end this with nice guys. What do you have to say on the topic of nice guys?
Nice, nice guys, right? Or nice guys.
Nice guys. Nice guys. The nice guy
I was
syndrome.
like looking at your background. I was like, that's a nice background. Yeah, I love nice guys because I feel like they're the one that need the most help at times, because
Yeah.
they're so nice, and women can maybe use that niceness for weakness, see that niceness for weakness, and definitely don't want that to happen. And if I had a daughter, I definitely would want my daughter to be dating a nice guy. But unfortunately, nice guys sometimes don't know how to talk to girls, and that's where I come in.
All right, you hear that, nice guys? We have a solution for you. It's not the end of the world. You don't have to turn into an asshole. And thank you for joining us. I'm gonna leave the links and everything down in the description.